sponsored by Just Blaze and the Sponsor Rockets for the records.
Fellow Americans, it is with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the OV. I used to move snowflakes by the OC.
All right, got the camera working. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Morning Glory. My name is Eddie Law. Wow, I can't even talk this morning. It's I think it's like 5:30 a.m. on the West Coast until whenever daylight savings time is, and then we no longer match up with Pacific Standard. But regardless, it's early as all. Actually, this isn't even the earliest that I usually do. I'm actually kind of late to work, so I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, all right, if you haven't seen the show before, it is the morning show. Basically, the reason I call it Morning Glory, the original idea was to do it while sitting on the john, but that sounds a lot grosser than it should. And it was a lot grosser than it should be as far as the show goes. So it's actually just dumping out whatever's on my brain this morning. Well, first of all, Cardinals win last night. Yes, sir. All my football fans. If you love the Cardinals, great, we win. If you don't mind the Cardinals, great, we still win. And if you hate the Cardinals, fuck you, I still won. So, yeah. Anyway, still though, I gotta say that they make me nervous every time they play. It's like a friggin', I suffer like 10 heart attacks throughout the entire game. As dominant as they should be against bad teams like the Ravens, like they've shown against the Lions and the Niners and all them. They should have beat the shit out of the Ravens last night. They really should have, and it was really it was very frustrating to see Bruce Arians call for a bomb down the freaking field when you're at 3-1. When you're at 3-1 and you have Chris Johnson in your backfield and Andre Ellington and David Johnson, you run the fucking ball, okay? Especially with Chris Johnson. You saw what he did last night. He broke off a huge run. He went over 100 yards once again and a touchdown. Andre Ellington, I don't mind him being put on the back burner for now, for the fact that CJ is definitely a higher caliber running back, but also because we get to save him for the playoffs, which is great, which I'm totally down with. However, if you save your running backs to the playoffs and you don't fucking use them, that's another story. And Arians is not using his running backs. At least, look, I'm not a fucking football coach. So I'm assuming he has like a master plan for this shit and whatever he's planning to do with those guys. But calling for a deep pass down the down the field when you're 3-1, thinking you're gonna fool the Ravens on one. I mean, just get the job done. Get the first down. You get 3 more tries, right? So anyway, continuing on here. As far as MMA stuff goes, we had the show last night, the Spanish show. And what did we talk about? We talked about UFC Dublin, Bellator 144, MVP, Michael Venom Page. Anyone of you that's familiar with him, you know why he's the MVP, why he's fucking sick. That dude is just, he's really, really good. Mind you, we've only seen him against Bellator. We haven't even seen him against like the best Bellator has to offer. Although I'm pretty sure he could whoop their ass too. But the guy he fought last weekend was a guy that was making his Bellator debut, which to me just yells out the label shitbag. So, as far as an opponent goes, he beat the fuck out this dude, got him on the ground, got on top of him, and gave him the elbows from fucking hell. But I can't describe it as those John Jones elbows, because that's what it was. Those angry ass John Jones, Mama said knock you out elbows. Fucking, that's what he was hitting him with. And so, me and Jesse were talking about it yesterday, and we want to see him with some higher caliber talent, but not. But I don't think Bellator has anything at 170 that could even challenge this guy. What's up, Mike? Still not sold on him. And I don't blame you. I think the problem is the talent that he has to face. What I like about him, confident. Look, this guy could be a star. If we talk about the formula of what makes a star these days, is not only talented, not only the ability to win and to win dominantly, it's the ability to market yourself, right? And this dude could talk. In the cage, this guy does the Anderson Silva thing where he fucks with you, right? Not as much Nick Diaz, more Anderson Silva than Nick Diaz as far as the fucking with people in the cage. He has the technique, the athleticism. He's a whole package. But you're right. We haven't seen him against anyone that can make us think, okay, this guy's legit. We haven't seen him really get into any adversity. You know, we haven't seen him get taken down for 4.5 rounds and then pull off a triangle against a dude that's been, you know, fucking hammering him in the that's been hammering him all fight. So no, you're right. You know, I'm not 100% convinced on him. I'm more intrigued. I want to see what he can do against higher talent. Would love to see him in the UFC. Would love to see him against Benson Henderson at 170. Would love to see him. Actually, I don't even know if Benson Henderson like physically could. Well, fuck it. Benson Henderson took on Brandon Thatch. Okay, fuck it. Let's see that fight. I'd love to see him at 150. If he can make 155. But I think 170 is like perfect weight for him. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't blame him for not being convinced. You know, completely sold on him. But you know, I think he has like 4 or 5 fights left with Bellator, which sucks. If we can get out of that shit and get to the UFC, it'd be great. But I guess Jesse was saying yesterday that he wants to hang around Bellator and build his brand, quote unquote. I think Eddie Alvarez style, and try to get more money out of the UFC. And I do not blame him whatsoever. But I'm pretty sure the UFC has their eye on him for sure. So we were talking about that. You got UFC Bellator, Bellator 144. We didn't talk lion fights because neither one of us got to see the entire event. I did get to see John Wayne Parr get a new vagina installed over his, on his forehead somewhere. That was, that was damn. And that guy has such a great attitude. He goes, "Yeah, I just had another scar. It's all good, you know." What else we talked about last night? We also talked about John Jones being reinstated and stuff like that. We talked about LeVar Johnson, the fucking idiot who, if you haven't heard, has been in jail for a couple months now for domestic violence, domestic abuse. He beat the crap out of his girlfriend. The account from his girlfriend, mind you, the account of what happened is that he punched the crap out of her, kneed her a bunch of times, and didn't stop beating her, and threw her into the wall a few times, and didn't stop beating on her until she started bleeding. And that's when he stopped. And so now LeVar Johnson's in jail. His bail was originally set at $290,000. I think it's like at $160 right now, $160,000. Which he's, if he's been in jail for 2 months, he's not making that bail. He's just gonna have to wait. He should be okay in fucking jail. That guy's, no one should really fuck with that guy. But we're talking about Roy Rage, yeah, Mike. It's very possible, man. What's his name? LeVar Johnson did test positive for PEDs, and I think steroids was actually the thing. So I mean, it could have been that. But the thing is this: that shit's not. My bad. It's definitely not helping the perception of fighters, MMA fighters in particular. If you guys remember that he was juiced to the gills, yes he was. Yes he was. When Brendan Schaub says you were juiced in your fight and he still fought you and whatever. Still crazy. But no, not just Brendan Schaub. That dude tested positive. So not Brendan, but LeVar. But regardless, it gives. Forget the fact that not forget the fact. HBO put out that fucking documentary not too long ago about how MMA fighters are worse than boxers somehow, and NFL players and all that. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, but Andy, but all this shit. Look, the reason it pisses me off is the fact that it's a crime, and you should never lay your hands on a woman unless she's trying to kill you, which I highly doubt that chick was trying to kill LeVar Johnson. It's forget the fact that it's a crime. I mean, okay, that's also included. That's the part that pisses me off the most. But he's not helping the issue with MMA fighters' reputations. And so I was asking Jesse, and I was wondering this myself: should promotions do something to educate their fighters, or at least to warn them? Maybe put a clause in their contract saying, you pull shit like this, you'll be banned for life from this promotion, this organization, whatever, or something like that. They should maybe do something, But I think Jesse mentions like, can you really do anything? Aren't fighters going to do whatever their crazy ass is going to do anyway? I mean, War Machine was clearly has some issues with him. Mike says no, they just have more money to cover it up. You know what? Yeah, Well, I mean, obviously, for the higher caliber fighters, for like a, like a champion or a top 5, top 10 draw, I probably, I could see that happening for sure. But for a guy like LeVar Johnson, obviously that's not happening. Bellator's not putting up shit. But it's just, and forget that part. MMA fighters have to decide, I think, as a whole, what kind of reputation they want to have. Guys like Mayhem Miller are fucking up their reputation. Guys like LeVar Johnson are fucking up their reputation. War Machine, forgot his real name, John Captain some shit or other. He if you guys don't know or don't remember, he beat the crap out of his girlfriend at the time. Actually, it wasn't even his girlfriend at the time, but his former girlfriend. What's her name? Forget, she's a porn star, or was a porn star. But she anyway beat the crap out of her so bad she needed multiple surgeries to fix a lot of the wounds that she had, and and so it was. And she was like the HBO special's like main freaking spot, like the one person that was giving the most or talking the most, it seemed. So it's something that the MMA fighters have to deal with. They have to figure this out. And promotion, something has to be done. It's one of those things you can't just sit there and just fucking be like, well, happen again, whatever. Because sooner or later, people aren't gonna put up with that bullshit no more, And then if you walk around, you go hang out at a place or whatever, and you go, yeah, I'm an MMA fighter, or I train MMA, or I fight in this, that you immediately get that perception that you're a woman beater. So it'll get to that point because people are that generalistic with their mindset. They don't think about, individual person could be different. Nope, they don't think that shit at all. So hell, when I was training and I used to come back to my place, with a bruise or it was a few times where sparring sessions got a little crazy, and we got into it real bad, and ended up coming back with my opponent's or my training partner's blood on my shirt. You know what I mean? And so I remember I was living with this chick at the time, and she her mom came over and saw me. She had never met me before, and she just happened to come over the day after when I was coming home with blood on my shirt, and she goes, "What were you doing?" I was like, "Oh, Muay Thai." And she goes, "What's that?" And I explained it to her, and she immediately thought I was like the most violent person on the planet. I'm like, no, it just we're supposed to go 50 or 60%. Dude took it too far. So I had actually quite a few of those instances, man. Hell, my parents didn't want me to train, right? My mom didn't let me play football, so I had to not tell her that I was doing it and kind of, forge a signature or two. But and stuff like that, and then obviously by the time I started training, I was an adult, so I didn't really care. But I like to, kind of have her blessing on things, and especially my mom. My dad doesn't give a shit, but my mom definitely. So I was telling her, I said, I'm gonna start training jiu-jitsu. She had no clue what it was. I explained it to her, and she was like, "You want to tear people's arms off?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if I have to, I do." And she was just like, "Oh, whatever." So I went and I started training that, and then at the same gym that I was at, they were doing Muay Thai, so I started training that. And I used to come see them and have like a black eye, or I would avoid them for a while. And she realized, she didn't realize it at the time, but I had already had a couple skirmishes. So that was fun to explain, a couple years later. But that's the other thing is a martial artist. Like when you think martial arts, you think Bruce Lee, kind of, right? I mean, that's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind. That the term martial artist or martial arts is, to me, Bruce Lee pops out. Dude had, you just think honor, integrity, perseverance, confidence, courage, all those words that humans, but specifically men, and I'm not holding women out on this either. The women are definitely in this, but speaking to the domestic violence, domestic violence topic, because it is the majority. I think, or it seems like the majority of the cases with MMA fighters are male, against female. All those terms, that I said a second ago, they're all things that men hold the highest regard. Martial artist is still, in my opinion, one of the titles that one of the most honorable titles. If you can call yourself a martial artist, that to me comes with not only all those labels attached to you, but a responsibility to honor said, all of those things, to honor the term, the name, the label, whatever you want to call it, of martial artist. It's your responsibility to hold that up. And and when fighters that train in martial arts, and they all call themselves martial artists and shit, and then they go out and beat the crap out of their girlfriends or their wives or whatever it is. It's I don't know, it's killing that label. It's killing the honor of being able to call yourself a martial artist. So it's I don't know, it's hurting everything. It really is. The entire thing, the entire sport is getting hurt by this, and at some point they're gonna have to do something about it, or cover it up if the fight is big enough, like Mike was saying. I was saying the big enough part. But it's just it's irritating as all hell to see shit like that. And I do hope that the guys that are charged and found guilty and there's evidence and all that do have to pay the price. Andy says too many young kids train MMA, not traditional martial arts. No fucking respect. You know what? I tend to agree, because my nephew's only 3 years old, but he's already had to deal with a couple, like I think one bully in school. And look, 3 years old is in preschool. It's not a big deal, right? But my mind immediately goes to, well, what if this shit happens and when he's 6, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old in school, this kid's training jiu-jitsu. I've already talked to my sister's kid, but she is too soft. She doesn't think very much about stuff like that. She thinks, oh, he's gonna tell a teacher, and I'm like, what's the fuck the teacher gonna do, right? But so self-defense is important. So, but I've already told her, I was like, he's got to do jiu-jitsu, and she said, well, this is MMA school, and I said, no, jiu-jitsu, right away. As soon as he's able to take instruction, I think he's like 5 years old. The gym near where she lives, we live pretty close by, but the gym where we were near, or the jiu-jitsu school that we train, that we live nearby, I think they require the student to be at least 5. So it's we gotta wait a couple of years, but yeah, man, it's I would tend to agree with that a little bit. Because you don't get the full effect of the martial art. For example, Andy says, foundation of all martial arts is respect. Little of that in MMA world. I agree. I do agree with that a lot, actually. You rarely get, any kind of shit talking jiu-jitsu, for example. Like you get it for fun and here and there with your training partners and sometimes with opponents. I showed up to class before, and I've had a training partner talk a little bit of shit, but it's for fun. It's clearly for fun. In MMA, you get guys like Conor McGregor doing this, saying this shit, saying that shit, snake in the grass, blah blah, which by the way turned out to be true, but that's a topic for another show. But saying a bunch of stuff, and there's no, there's very little respect. And there is respect. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the fighters definitely show respect. You can tell, but a lot of them don't, and I agree with this. The respect factor's got to be there, and the discipline more. I think above all, is something that's missing from MMA. So it's weird. We can get into a debate on this, and I could debate anybody on this forever, and we probably would never get to an agreement. But at the same time, it's something. Like I said, it's something that needs to be discussed and needs to be worked on by, I think, promotions, because fighters clearly aren't regulating themselves when it comes to they can't control themselves or something. There's something's going on there, and it's not like it's a basketball team where players can hold each other accountable, or a football team where players hold each other accountable. Even though you are part of a fight team, or you are part of a school or an academy when it comes to other martial arts. So yeah, it's weird, man. The whole thing's just weird. Other things I want to talk about before I get off this thing here. Andy says, look at the old school. Evil fuckers, but still respect all opponents. Yep, that's very true. Definitely very true. Another thing I want to talk about, I don't know if you guys saw this shit that happened at Spring Valley High School. I forget what city this is in, but I got some of the story. I'm going to dig into it a little more, so, I'm not going to, throw judgment too much, but I got kind of pissed off when I saw it. There's a video going around at this place called Spring Valley High School. For some reason, a cop is called into the classroom. Which to me, unless you're like in the roughest of rough neighborhoods, and most kids walk around with knives and guns, is already an overblown reaction to something. Then it turns out, from what I read so far, that he got called in because a female student wouldn't leave the room. As the teacher asked her to, supposedly because she was chewing gum. And this is according to like one kid that was in the classroom. Like I said, I'm not 100%, but this shit's going around, so I gotta dig into a little more. And then the cop came in. If you've seen the video, just go on Twitter and type in Spring Valley High School or Spring Valley HS, and you'll see this cop ragdoll the shit out of this chick onto the floor. And no word that this guy was like arrested or anything, or not arrested. If he was fired or anything, or at least or arrested for assault, but and definitely abuse of power. But it's to me it was just an abuse of power. Now, a lot of people are going, "Oh, you shouldn't provoke a cop," and I'm like, "Yeah, but for a high school girl provoked you that much, you had to ragdoll her onto the ground, really?" And then people started throwing race around. For example, that one white dude that shot up the church. Not only was he not killed, not only did they not beat the shit out of him when they arrested him, they fucking bought him Burger King on the way to the jail. Like that's documented, as far as I've seen. That they bought him Burger King on the way to freaking jail. The guy that murdered people in a church. And this and on the other side, a black girl in a high school classroom gets ragdolled for chewing gum and not listening to the cop. And I'm like, look, people saying, oh, she should have provoked her. I'd be deathly afraid. Look, I'm already super nervous around cops. The fact that I'm in Arizona and shit definitely doesn't help. But I'm already nervous as fuck around cops because they're not trained to be intelligent. They're trained to react. In fact, they actually got permission, or they got a law, or they got something worked out to where they will not hire intelligent people. They'll hire people that are animal, that react like animals, that they can train to react to shit. To not, so for example, an intelligent human being would have been like, there's a high school girl, let's just talk to her like a high school girl and figure out why we have a problem right now. And then talk to the teacher and be like, you overreacted fuck. You ever call the cops for some stupid shit like this again, I'm gonna arrest your ass. And I'm gonna ragdoll your ass across this fucking campus for being a dick. Okay? Don't fucking call me again for some stupid shit you should be able to handle. Do what the teachers do and call the parents. Send a letter home. Do something mild like that. Don't fucking call me, the guy that walks around campus with a goddamn gun. Alright? So, but again, they're not supposed to hire intelligent officers. It's not their job. It's literally, they've said as much. They don't want to hire intelligent people. So it's ridiculous. So I mean, I saw that video and I immediately got pissed off because I'm like, shit, man, like going off that dialogue, that a lot of this stuff seems to be race related, and police want to say, oh no, it has nothing to do with race. Sorry, man, but actions are proven otherwise. They really are. I hate to think bad about cops. I know people. I have friends that are cops, and they're good motherfuckers. They're good people. You know what I mean? Growing up, I used to get in a little bit of trouble and shit, and when I was in high school, I got in a few fights and stuff, and I had to deal with cops once or twice, and the cop, and I used to just deal with one cop in particular, and this dude was the shit. He was awesome. You know what I mean? And he grew up in a low income neighborhood, fucking used to get in trouble on his on his own growing up, whatnot, and he's a fucking awesome human being. He didn't fucking ever ragdoll anybody. He never shot anybody either. As far as I know, I lost contact with him like maybe 6 years ago, which sucks. But hopefully he's doing well and everything. But there's good fucking cops out there. But goddamn, like the actions of the shitty ones, or at least the stupid ones, is absolutely tainting the rest of you guys. And it really, the rest of the cops, and it really sucks. You know what I mean? Because if there's anything we know about people, and what was it saying? Is a person is smart and people are panicky animals or whatever they were saying. I forgot where I read that. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but the actions of a few are fucking it up for all the other ones. You know what I mean? To the point that now you have movements against police. people, you know, the song "Fuck the Police" by NWA from back in the day has never been truer. It really has never been truer. You know, but with this disparity of, again, I use the example that fucking dude that shot up the church, shot up the black church. You know, the fact that they fucking treated him all nice and everything and bought him Burger King on the way home and what the fuck else not. The fact that they did that shit, and, you know, black kids and whatever in other places are getting ragdolled and shot to shit on sight. You know, stuff like that. It's alarming as fuck. It makes me wonder if I want to have kids on this planet. Like, do I really want to have, you know, you know, do I really want to have kids on this fucking planet where they could, you know, be chewing gum in a goddamn classroom, you know, and if they're teenagers, the way this girl is, you know, have a fucking attitude and a problem with authority, and instead of the cop handling it like a fucking normal human being would, like an adult would, with teenagers, he fucking throws this girl to the ground as hard as he can. You know, it's what the fuck, man? Do I really want to have kids on this shit and have them possibly be subjected to something like that? No, I don't fucking want to do that. So it's like, it's ridiculous, man. So, you know, that's I don't know. That shit really pissed me the fuck off. So anyway, yeah, now I'm at least I'm awake now. I woke up with just a massive migraine that calmed down maybe like 20 minutes before I left for work. So I'm a little beat up right now. Hopefully I can get through the work day. I honestly, I would call out if there was call out rules here, but this is not. I don't have we don't have sick days here. It's kind of a hustle job, so you when you want to get paid, you got to go to work. So it's one of those things. So I don't know, maybe I don't know. I just got to get through the week, man. We'll see. Anyway, what's tonight? Keyboard Warriors. Don't miss it. Myself, Aaron Robbins, Fred Kirby. Exactly. Wombles tonight, Mr. Reed. Definitely. Anyway, yeah, Keyboard Warriors tonight. Myself, Aaron Robbins, Fred Kirby, and you know, whoever else shows the fuck up. And we'll catch you guys later. It's Tuesday, man. It's Tuesday. It's a slow week, but at least you're alive, right? So put in some work, improve yourself somehow today, and remember that you're one step closer to death, man. So make the shit count. See ya.